Hello, everyone. Welcome to Development Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Cordoba Morales Platino Sumatra, Reposado, and Cedro Toro. Cigar is 6.5 inch by 52 ring gauge. Comes out of the American Caribbean Cigars factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Sumatra, and the binder and filter are from Nicaragua. Blended by Azarias Mustafa Cordoba, and price point is $12. The cigar was released in July of 2016. And with those details out of the way, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
Um, just first of all, it's a beast of a cigar. So I had to really be in the right mindset to be like, it's probably going to take a while to get through this thing.
Yeah.
But I thought in terms of the wrapper, a very fine grit, sandpaper, rustic Maduro shade. Things well pressed, seems tight and visible. Bunch and roll felt well done, heavy, no soft spots, in a uniform give throughout. That man bun head.
There you go.
It sounds like some freaking sexual crap. Uh, the man bun head is finished off with a really well applied triple cap. And I think so. I actually cut the cigar, but I think the premise of this thing is to just take the bun off and you can draw it with it, but with it off. But
I've never been successful doing that.
oh, really?
I've tried a couple times, and it doesn't come off well enough for me to smoke it after that.
Yeah, I don't even want to like take the risk, man. Because if I
Yeah.
could take the whole freaking cap off, like that would ruin it for me. So
Yep.
Anyways, within the nosing experience, smelling that wrapper, I got aged cedar, flowers, subtle white pepper. Smelling the foot, white pepper, just like that, natural sweet black tobacco notes. Pull draw, cedar, hay, and balanced white pepper. So a good presentation.
Yeah, wrapper color varied from like dark brown to medium brown, kind of with a bit of a turtle shell appearance to it. Fanes were easily visible as they carried a lighter color to them. The seams were also easily visible, just due to the color variations of the wrapper, but they were smooth. Head appears to have a triple cap, top cap being finished with that very long pigtail that's kind of wrapped up really tightly. It was glued down pretty well too. It was a pretty shiny cap. Foot is fully closed, excess wrapper folded over. A single silver band with some embossing and some white lettering on it. Aroma from the wrapper was like a very faint aged wood and hay. And the foot kind of gave that same note that it was just completely covered. Pre-light draw brought like a slightly fuller aged wood note, along with a little bit of sweet hay as well. So getting into flavor for first third to final third, what was your experience like?
First third showed this really super tasty, like dessert, like sweet creaminess, sweet cedar, very well mannered, balanced kind of black pepper and dry roasted nuts. The retro holds similar notes as a mouth draw, but deepens in intensity with notes of sweet cedar, black pepper, sweet cream nuttiness. The finish, not all that noteworthy, mainly consisting of a lasting generic dry wood. Body strength at the medium mark. Moving on to the second third. Overall, same notes within the second third, but a little bit of like a transition and mix up going on. Profile becomes less sweeter, replaced by more earthiness. Notes of aged cedar, dry nuts, black pepper is on the forefront, followed by like a backbone of the sweet cream. Retro remains unchanged, still giving me the more intense notes of the sweet cedar, black pepper, and sweet cream nuttiness. Finish also unchanged, still with a very lingering dry wood. Body and strength continues its medium stride. Within the last third, starting from that, really the big story starting from that midway point of that last third. So at that point, the wood and spice becomes sharper. It's not sharp by any means, and it still flows with the other flavors really well, but just more of a little bit of a bump in intensity. So flavors of sharper cedar, increased black pepper spice, sweet cream, and dry roasted nuts rounds out the entire profile. Retro still, amplified notes of sweet cedar, black pepper, sweet cream nuttiness. Finish still lingering with that dry wood, but also picks up a bit of a faint, subtle wood bitterness going on. And the profile finish off within the body and strength, still at that medium mark.
Yeah, initial draws for me brought like a sweet and spicy aged wood note, and then at a quarter inch in, that sweet and spicy kind of went away, and it was replaced by a good amount of cream. The aged wood kind of continued on, and there was like a slight dull pepper on the finish. Retrohale brought like a nice mix of aged wood and pepper, and then at 3/4 of an inch in, that aged wood became more defined as aged cedar, and the cream and the pepper were really mixing well with it. And then at 1.5 inches, some sweetness returned to mix with the creamy and peppery aged cedar. And then as the third was coming to a close, that sweetness went away again, kind of leaving the creamy and the peppery aged cedar. And the strength in the first third was just slightly below medium. Getting into the second third, kind of the pepper fades away, leaving that creamy aged cedar note. And then at a quarter inch in, some cream kind of returns. The retrohale was very creamy, and had that aged cedar kind of in the background. And then 1.5 inches in, sweetness had once again left, and the cream lessened a bit more. And the aged cedar moved up to the front. And then as the third was coming to a close, the cream continued to lessen, and it was just really just in the background at that point, while the aged cedar was the dominant note. And the strength was right at the medium mark. And then getting the final third, some bitterness entered the profile of aged cedar and slight creaminess. And then at a quarter inch in, the bitterness lessened while the aged cedar and the slight creaminess kind of soldiered on. At a 1/2 inch in, bitterness ramped back up, kind of became even with the aged cedar, while some creams kind of still remained in the background. Retrohale was aged cedar with a little bit of bitterness in the background. And then 1.5 inches in, the cigar began to heat up, which kind of highlighted the bitterness a bit. Aged cedar was still in the background while the cream had completely left the profile. And that's kind of how the cigar finished out, and the strength had bumped up a little bit just to just be slightly above medium. So getting into performance for burn and draw, what was your experience like?
Perfection for both. In terms of burn, ashes held on tight with 1.5 inch self-tapped increments. Burn line sharp. Auto leaves burn in unison with no issues. Never had I had to do a relight or touch up or anything. Total smoking time, long and slow, 2 hours and 15 minutes. In terms of draw, also perfect. I cut the cigarette around that second cap, and that yielded, the best draw that I've had.
Yeah, burn was perfect for me as well. I mean, it stayed straight the entire way. Ashes held on 1.25 inch increments, so really nice. Draw was slightly snug for me, but I never felt that kind of kept me from getting all the flavors that the cigar wanted to present. So it was just kind of a slight ding on it, but overall it was still pretty good. So overall, what were your thoughts on the cigar?
I really liked the cigar. I thought that interplay of that sweetness and cream, layering the spice and wood, it kept, me just engaged throughout the whole time without ever feeling like it's boring or mundane. And in general, I mean, if you give me a cigar that's kind of mainly, presented by like a sweet creaminess, and then you add some spice in there, I'm gonna like it. So I enjoyed it, no doubt. I don't know much about this brand, Cordoba and Morales, but having reviewed the Santa Fe and now this one, perhaps I'm getting a little bit of a sense of Azarias's, like, I know he's Cuban heritage, and perhaps that blending style of, flavor over strength kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So knowing that, I'm excited to try more of his offerings. I think we have more of their stuff, right? That we haven't reviewed yet.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped to smoke it. I mean, even though he may blend some other stuff that's stronger, I feel like given these two examples and these two lines that we smoked, that he cares a lot about balance and flavor. So that's right up my alley.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was a really nice smoke. I mean, the aged wood kind of became more defined as cedar. It was really pleasant. Nuances in the first third were really nice. Then kind of it settled in a little bit more linear profile. But linear is okay when the flavor is good. Strength level kind of topped out at the slightly above medium mark. So, I think most smokers would be able to get, enjoy this one. I just think this is a really nice cigar from Cordoba Morales, and I'd easily revisit in the future. It's kind of, I hadn't heard much about this cigar, leading up to the time that I smoked it. So I'm just either, maybe a lot of people hadn't got their hands on it or what, but I think this is something people should definitely seek out. It's a pretty nice cigar.
I think it's totally like a under the radar kind of a smoke.
Yeah. So getting into the scores, I gave it a 7.13. You gave it a 7.33. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
It matches up well. I mean, I basically scored first, second, last, third good. Couple by perfect in terms of burn and draw, and overall good. So it should hit right around that, low to mid sevens.
Yeah, my matches up well as well. I mean, I started very good in the flavor wise, and then it kind of went down to good and then average. But I had really good construction as well. I just kind of dig that, the aged woody notes. I don't want to say it's similar in line to the flavors that you get from like in Bombay, but it's kind of in the same wheelhouse of like an aged wood notes. Not that the wood notes that are the same because they're very different, but I just think you kind of get that. I don't even think I would say use the word Cubanesque, but you kind of get that. You kind of get that feeling. Not that you're necessarily smoking Cuban tobacco, but you're smoking what I think what you mentioned is kind of his heritage of blending in that fashion. So I think it's just a really enjoyable cigar, and people should give it a shot. So, any other final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of bouncing off your talk about like that aged, wood aspect of things. I mean, I feel like when I smoke a cigar that has like aged anything, it could easily turn to the side of just tasting burning paper, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And being too aged out, perhaps. But that's not what I'm talking about with this cigar. And if I remember right, I think that Santa Fe that we reviewed, it had a very similar like this. It's almost like there's this like Cubanesque, sort of this like aged aspect, like a muskiness almost, right?
Right.
That thing going on that I thought that both Santa Fe and the cigar had. And let her know, I mean, I don't see a lot of Ecuadorian Sumatra out there, so just with that wrapper leaf alone, I was hyped to smoke it. So
yeah. So let me ask you this then. We've already reviewed one, and we have another one in line. But let's just say that if somebody took the band off of this, and you didn't know the vitolas of the other cigar I'm going to mention, but somebody put a Cuban band on this with a secondary band for the Añejados project. Would you think that this would be what you would want the Añejados project to be like?
Yes, but not this long of a smoking experience.
Right. Something like something like
quarter or something.
Yeah, 5.5 or maybe something like that.
Right, like hour and a half or so max smoking time.
Okay.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I would expect more than this out of the Añejado programs.
Right.
I mean, my opinion on Añejados is a complete bust.
Yeah, but I mean, as much as we think the Añejados has been a failure, this would definitely be a shining cigar in that program.
Yeah, it's the Tazarius, and they would have been like, "Let me smoke one of your."
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
No.
All right. If you're just catching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also read the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. You can also catch all our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.